All right, good Wednesday evening, everybody. David Paul here in the KHOU 11 Weather Center on what has been another very rainy day. We are forecasted an 80% coverage for today. We ended up with 100% coverage. I think every spot in southeast Texas, from Huntsville to Galveston, from Beaumont to Columbus, got wet today to one degree or another. Now, moving forward, we stay in a wet weather pattern, but tomorrow we'll cut the rain coverage in half to 40%. But those thunderstorms that do develop in the afternoon tomorrow could be very heavy. Maybe an isolated severe storm, maybe some isolated street flooding and street ponding. So that is still in play, even though rain chances, the coverage of it will be lower to 40% tomorrow. 30% chance for those thunder showers to pop up and get you wet on Friday. And then what are your weekend plans? Because the weather pattern overall, and we'll look at this, the big upper level pattern, has Texas and the south central United States wedged into a wet weather pattern that just continues to sit on us and reinforces itself as we head into the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, your plans include a good chance for rain and thunderstorms. I've got them at 60% rain coverage Saturday and Sunday. Some models are coming in with more like 80% rain coverage on Saturday and Sunday. So that's what we're looking at. Monday will bring a 30% rain chance as well. It's turned into a beautiful, beautiful afternoon and early evening. High temp today at Bush Intercontinental Airport did go to 91. That came at 12:13. Then the rain and the clouds rolled in, kept us from getting to 94. That's the normal high for this time of the year, so 3 below normal. Record high is 102, set on this day back in 1980. So this day, back in 1980, I was going into the 6th grade, and I remember working with Mom and Dad. They had bought a little piece of property in Grimes County, and we were putting in an irrigation system of all things because we were trying to keep the plants from dying. So I was gluing PVC pipe together with Mom and Dad. Learned all about that summer. Learned all about cracks in the ground that can get 2 or 3 inches wide, and then you can put a garden hose in that crack and it just will never be filled up. That was an interesting summer for me. Just it was just part of my Texas and Houston, what can happen during extreme weather, and that just happened to be an extreme drought situation. Morning low was 73, normal low is 76, record low is 64, set on this day in 1905. Down in Galveston, look at this. Clouds hovering offshore. There's some thunderstorms offshore in Galveston, but the sun is shining in on Murdoch's and Pleasure Pier. So it's a beautiful evening down on Seawall Boulevard. Let's see, I see someone down there. Looks like they're down there. Got a little dog, taking a dog for a walk. Beautiful. Okay, Texas, the southern 2/3 of Texas has been wet today. We had our rain earlier in the day. This is a 2-hour loop. And so over the past 2 hours, we've watched our rain kind of wane. But areas where it waited to get going are feeding on the heat of the afternoon. So we've got several flood advisories and a couple of flood warnings to our north. And then more pertinent is what's happening in the hill country. And this is actually the second round of heavy rain they've had here. So there's the town of Llano. The Llano River feeds into the Colorado here above Marble Falls. And then that's the Colorado going on down toward Lake Travis eventually and getting down to Austin. But up here on the Llano and the tributaries, heavy thunderstorms, and they have a flash flood warning there until 10 o'clock tonight. A considerable flash flooding threat in the hill country. Again, this evening, they were hoping they'd get a chance to dry out. Rain chances here were 20% as of yesterday. They've had more coverage than that, but the storms that have fired out here today are producing very heavy rain. So they're on alert again across the hill country this evening. Back here in Houston, things are settling down, just some damp roads in places. Out to our south and west, though, from Karnes City to Cuero to Shiner back to Seguin. Area is outlined in green for a flood advisory. This means, hey, the low-lying spots could have some high water in them because you had several inches of rain out here earlier in the day. Thunderstorms have now weakened, but still high water spots in low-lying areas. Low water crossings where you're crossing a little creek or a stream could have high water in it. That flood advisory in effect for counties to our west until 8 o'clock tonight. Houston, Harris County, radar still picking up on a sprinkle or two out the energy corridor to near Cinco Ranch and Katy. But really, some of this is not even reaching the ground. Very light drizzle here. That's coming to an end. Further to the south, Brazoria County, that's a pretty good rain shower. It's weakening. No lightning and thunder here in the last few minutes, but it is going to give Angleton a little drink of water like you need it. And then more scattered showers, Freeport and along the coast. There's thunder showers further offshore. The camera shot we had from Galveston looking at Murdoch's is facing that way, so that is what we were looking at offshore with the dark clouds. But it's pretty well offshore. We're not seeing any of that heavy rain toward Galveston. There is some light rain. The west end of Galveston Island down to San Luis Pass, that looks like it's creeping up the island. So, you know, Jamaica Beach, you may end up with a few little showers there as that drifts up the coast of Galveston, but it looks like it's pretty light rain and drizzle there. Rain totals today, you know, they were pretty heavy in many spots up towards Spring in the Woodlands, especially along and north of the 99 connector. 3.6 inches of rain. These are rainfall estimates estimated by radar. Cleveland, 2.1 inches of rain today. Liberty had a ½ inch. Galveston, only 2/10. Downtown had about 1 inch of rain. Sugarland, ½ inch. Columbus, almost 3 inches. Areas south of Columbus in Colorado County, those yellow areas indicating spots where you had 3 inches of rain just today. So there were spots that really did get soaked again today as we've stayed in our wet weather pattern. As we go into the evening, computers once again fizzle almost everything out by 8 o'clock. They do keep that little guy going through 8 o'clock in the evening, but even after that it should settle down. Overnight things are quiet. Now, tomorrow plays out a little bit differently than yesterday and today did. Yesterday and today we had showers going before lunchtime, and then they expanded into a big coverage area as we headed into the afternoon. Take a look at tomorrow. We go into noon, and the models really don't have much going on. But once we get toward the mid-90s, that will be our convective temperature, and things will begin to bubble up. Now, the coverage won't be as much as it was today or yesterday, but those spots that do get rain and thunder tomorrow, that could be heavy. The thunderstorms could be quite strong in spots where they develop. Models suggest it's from downtown east, especially as you head out toward Pasadena, Pearland, out toward Baytown and over to Anahuac, Bellevue, Liberty, Tascasita, Lake Houston. But we do also have the modeling popping up a couple of thunder showers out toward Columbus. It just tells me that really anywhere in here we could see a strong, isolated thunderstorm pop up Thursday afternoon. So whatever your plans are, if you've got the app, turn on notifications. If we get a warning, you'll get it on your phone. We get into 8 o'clock and things settle down as we head into tomorrow evening. That's the pattern. And this is the big pattern. This is the upper level pattern that is driving the wet weather pattern. It's always what's going on the upper level. That's why I usually take time to look at this. So here's the upper level pattern. So what do we have here? So this is up at 34,000 feet. We have a dome of high pressure, a heat dome, bringing hot, dry weather to the desert southwest. We have another heat dome sitting here off the coast of New England. Actually, they've had a rather wet spring and early summer up here across Pennsylvania, New York State, and the Great Lakes as well. So that's heat dome number 1. Here's dome number 2. And you can see what's parked in between the two. In between the two, look at the winds. They dip down and make a trough and dip back up. That is literally a trough. That's what we call it. It is an upper air trough. I've marked it with the yellow dashed line. When you get a trough, you get under a trough, it quite often brings wet weather. We've been stuck in this position with the setup just like this for the past several days, and it's not going to break down anytime soon. So this is Wednesday. This is what it looks like right now. We push forward in time. We go into Thursday, same pattern. We go into Friday, and it evolves a little bit, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This particular is Saturday. I stopped it on Saturday, but this is what we'll be looking at this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. Ridge stays parked over LA. This ridge centered moves toward the Georgia coast, but in between, see it dipping down and then troughing out. So that trough, that upper air pattern stays with us, that wet weather pattern stays with us through the weekend. That's why we will continue to get these thunderstorms, especially firing up late morning into the afternoon once the heat has a little chance to work on our atmosphere. What about the tropics? Nothing in the Gulf, nothing in the Caribbean. Open Atlantic is asleep. Quick look at heat potential. Again, this is the sea surface temperature and how deep it goes. A real good measure of how much energy is available if a tropical system were to come over. Just a bunch of it available in the Caribbean. That's a little bit more. So heat potential's building in the Gulf. There is a little more heat potential building out in the open Atlantic, but there's a lot of dust out here. The tropical waves are not very strong right now. So none of this is leading to any type of tropical development at the moment. This is actual sea surface temperatures, 88, 88, 85, 83, plenty warm. Anything above 80 can support tropical development. Closer look at the Gulf, 88-degree surf temperature near the coast, 86 in the Bay of Campeche, 88 degrees off there near Tampa. But overall, Hurricane Center says nothing new is going to develop here over the next 7 days. There's too much dust and the tropical waves just aren't very vigorous. So Thursday's numbers, we start quiet. Lunchtime is relatively quiet, 40% chance for scattered thunderstorms. As we head into the afternoon and early evening, the extended forecast, 30% chance on Friday. 60% chance for rain and thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday. I think it'll be sea breeze stuff. Where we get it going late morning, it swooshes through during the mid-afternoon with some heavy downpours, and then settles down in the evening. We'll do that both Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, a 30% rain chance. We'll back off to rain chances just 20% Tuesday and Wednesday. And take note as we head into the middle of next week, rain chances down, heat up, upper 90s as we head into the middle of next week with lower rain chances. One of those domes of high pressure is going to move over the top of us, we think, for a couple of days as we head into next week. That's where we stand. Have a great evening, everybody.